Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Live at Larry's number 24.
Yes, live musicians.
And we are honored and blessed here to have an old jazz buddy of mine from University of Miami, Dante Luciani. And you are going to enjoy this so much. Dante, first of all, where are you from, by the way? You never told me that.
I'm from Philadelphia.
Oh, you really?
Originally, yes.
Oh, wow.
I was born in Trenton, New Jersey, and I grew up in Levittown, Pennsylvania, which is a Philly suburb.
Right.
And then later we moved to South Jersey, but still a Philly suburb.
What's that, South Jersey? Where, is that Cherry Hill down there? Or something?
Yeah, right in that area, right over the Walt Whitman Bridge, and you're in Jersey, and so we were in Washington Township, which is like right near Cherry Hill, yeah.
Nice.
Basically.
And Philly, how is that? Is that near the Liberty Bell?
It's not, the Liberty Bell is inside of Philadelphia, yes.
I played there in
At the Independence Hall.
what's that? Squirrel Hill. It's a Jewish area. I played some wedding there or something.
Squirrel Hill there, Chestnut Hill.
It was nice. Chestnut Hill.
That's,
And I remember seeing that Liberty Bell, I think.
Yeah?
Is that correct?
When I was a kid, yeah.
And then we have relatives from Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. Is that near you? That's a little further
west.
west.
If I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But
Wow.
no, but Philly, that's where I kind of grew up, and was there until I graduated high school, and then I came down here
Wow.
at 17 in 1982, like we were discussing.
Where'd you go to high school?
Washington Township High School in Sewell, New Jersey.
Sewell, New Jersey. Oh, so you grew up in New Jersey a bit too there, huh?
That's where I went to high school. Yeah.
We were from West New York.
Yeah.
You know West New York? North Bergen, Bergen County,
Sure.
Hudson
I
County.
had a girlfriend that lived in Succossona,
Succossona?
New Jersey.
Wow.
Off of Route, what's that, 80?
Route 80.
It was this way. Yes.
And you always wanted to go to UM? Is that your school of choice there?
Well, it's interesting. I applied to several different schools. I wanted to go to Eastman.
Really?
I was more of a classical player. I
Oh.
played jazz, but I studied classical music, and I
Right.
went and auditioned. 80 trombone players auditioning for 8 openings.
Wow.
And I got in, but I got no money. So my parents were like, I think
wow.
we're going to have to opt for something a little more reasonable. And so I applied to the University of Miami, and I also applied to North Texas State, which is now University of North Texas.
Oh, really?
And I got the best deal from Miami. I didn't know a lot about the program, actually. I knew North Texas was one of the great programs, but
Right.
until I came down here, and the first day I heard that concert jazz band play under the direction of Mid-Side.
When did you hear that?
The Jazz Forum, it's like the first jazz
Wow.
forum. And there are pictures of me at that, I think, forum, and my soon-to-be friends. And we were sitting there, and we're just like...
I know. That's, by the way, the concert jazz band, CJB it's called. It's one of the best bands probably in the country or in the world, right?
It's
Top players in college.
Yeah, and I could say at that time, it was one of the few top bands. At that time, there was North Texas State, there was
Right.
U of M, and then there was Eastman. Those are the 3 schools that had really strong bands.
Right.
Now there are a lot of there are a lot of great programs.
I thought North Texas State had some great bands too, and they had many
And
bands.
they still do. They have 9. I think they have 9 big bands.
They have are all those as great as CJB?
That's an interesting question. It's the 1 o'clock is definitely a top-notch band.
Oh, they're by times, right?
1 o'clock is the top band.
Oh, wow.
And then at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and it goes all the way to the 9 o'clock. They have a huge program, and so they have a lot of musicians. So probably the other, I haven't heard the later bands, I should say.
Right.
They might be good. They might just be a lot of the younger cats that are really
Right.
good.
Now, Dante, he graduated in 86.
Yep.
I graduated in 88. So he was like 2 years older than me. We had a mutual friend, Chuck Mitsoulis, who was, to me, I never really told you this, but he was like one of the first people I met, I think, at UM, and he was so kind, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me, the ropes, and I guess we both studied with Mr. Maggio.
That's right.
He was very polite. I remember that. He always addressed Mr. Maggio as sir. Yeah, he was very, well mannered.
Mr. Maggio required that we address him as Mr. Maggio too.
Oh, let me tell you a quick thing. When I was on the campus checking out the campus, and one of my friends said, "Hey, that's Vince. You'll be studying with him." But he said it like that, you know. So I went up to him and I said, "Are you Vince?" And he said, "I am Mr. Maggio." Yes, and I said, "Oh, I'm Larry. I guess I'm going to be one of your students if I make it through this introduction," you know. And then after that, I learned my lesson. You know, I always called him Mr. Maggio because that's not right. He was one of the older faculty too. I wouldn't feel so comfortable. But Chuck, one of the hardest swinging pianists, and he just was.
He was into Oscar.
Larry, you got to check out Oscar.
Check out Oscar.
Oh yeah, he was from Boston. He was Greek from Boston and had a very thick Bostonian accent, but it wasn't like Harvard Yard kind of a thing. It was very natural and thick. You know.
It was like, you know, he looked like kind of like a Boston mobster accent.
Anyway, let's play some now. Dante. Then after he graduated, you went away with some bands and played, and then you came back, and you were the leader of the CJB for like 12 years.
Yes, from 2001-ish to 2013. With Sider, who was running the band for, at that point, I don't know, maybe 30 years.
Right.
He took a sabbatical, and during his sabbatical, I was teaching the second band. During his sabbatical, he asked me to take the CJB, which I did. And then when he came back, he said, "Wow, you're doing a really good job. You got it."
So he put you in CJB?
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Now, by the way, Gary Lindsay, I played in second band. You played in first band, the CJB, for many years.
Yeah.
I played in Gary's band. I really enjoyed that because he's an arranger and a conductor. He knows. I learned a lot just watching him operate, and he's so precise and exacting. And so then he left, Gary, and then you went in took over second band?
Gary, let me see. Gary was, I think, yes, he was conducting the second band. Now we call it the studio jazz band.
Oh, wow.
Second band, and then I guess when Witch decided to relinquish the concert jazz band,
right,
Gary just went to go concentrate on his writing.
Oh, nice.
And his program, the studio jazz writing program, which has thrived.
And then you took that over, and now you're the program director. You did that for 12 years, and now you're the program director?
For jazz instrumental, yes.
Very nice. And Dante plays shows all over the place. He played with Maynard Ferguson. You played with, who else? Woody Herman.
Frank Tiberi, and
name a couple of...
Paul Anka.
With
Frank Sinatra.
Paul Anka wrote that Johnny Carson theme. Maybe
that's right.
You play the melody on that, or you always play the harmony?
What's that? Yeah, he would just like... it would just be a little part of his show. We'd probably play the first 8 measures, you know.
To bring him on? I'll bring him on?
No, it would just be like, maybe he said like, oh, maybe you'll recognize this one that I wrote.
That's his famous thing. So I'm coming around.
Come on down. Come on over.
Come on down. All right, so we didn't even talk about what we're going to play.
It's a true jam session.
True jam session. What are you interested in?
How about...
you want to swing some first, or you want to...
Yeah, let's swing some. How about, Witchcraft?
Witchcraft.
In
F?
In F.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Okay.
And then... just like we rehearsed. You don't need no rehearsal. No rehearsal needed.
That's right. He was telling me you played with Maynard Ferguson, and you don't get any rehearsal. You come in, you cite these all those charts.
Oh yeah, it was a flight to Sydney, Australia.
Oh boy, I've been there.
First gig. Yeah,
That's an opera house. Isn't there an opera house there in Sydney?
There is an opera house, and that's not where the gig was. So it was some kind of outdoor venue.
Okay.
And that was it, man. It was like, I had heard some of the music. I didn't have any of it, but I had a decent idea of what to expect. And that ended up being from 1990 to beginning of 1993. That first motif you played there, that was the way we would know in our hotel how it was one of us that was knocking on the door. Really? To open the door, yeah.
That's funny because my dad used to have, I guess there's a musician's whistle, and he used to work in New York and stuff. Yeah. Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
So he would, if we were ever lost, maybe my brother were ever lost in the Publix or something like that, and we would know to find him.
Well, maybe some other musicians which also
they come looking for a gig. I guess
the cashier was like, "Hey, I play trombone."
What's it? Want to do a pretty ballad or something?
Sure. What do you want to play?
What would you like?
Pick one and see if I know it. Learn if I don't.
You want to do "Here's That Rainy Day"?
Okay.
You know that one?
Yeah. Okay.
It's in G.
I'll do it. I'm gonna put a little bit of a. Cool.
You know Samba De Orfeu?
Wait, how does that one go? Oh,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Extra for the.
Yeah. Is that
I know a guy.
Oh, you know a guy. This is the lowest note, right?
Yes, that's the lowest.
Now you got pedals on there, right? But they skip around and you lose some, right? I don't understand that.
So that low E is the lowest actual note. And the other ones are called fake tones.
Okay. Can you get a full octave down to the lower E?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then.
Where are you going? Down to C?
That's a C.
Oh my gosh. How'd you do that? I thought only a bass trombone gets those things.
Yeah, they have triggers that allow for that, but those really, it doesn't matter where you play it. They're called fake tones because you can really.
You're using your lips to do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm really kind of altering my embouchure to. It's a good way to warm down. Like when you're done playing, it's good to play some low notes. It's like you exercise and you stretch.
Nobody writes on there for you, do they?
Pardon me?
They never write past that E when they're writing for you.
Sometimes they'll write like pedal notes, like the real pedal notes. Like here's a regular B flat. That's a real note. That's a pedal note.
Mine's probably that too. Wow.
But then after the pedal notes, there are other fake tones. You know.
You play bass trombone too?
No, I don't.
Never, ever?
I did once. I did play bass trombone twice on a church gig when I was in school, and then I subbed on Woody Herman's band. The bass trombone player, they couldn't get a bass trombone player for. It was a pickup gig after the band stopped touring in 1990.
Okay.
But then after that, we'd do little pickup gigs. Like, oh, there's a gig in Orlando, so anybody who's ever done the band would come together and play. Or there's a gig in New York. You know, everybody who's done the band in New York. And this was what, but they couldn't get a bass trombone player. And I was up in New Jersey. So Mike Brignolo, the guy who is kind of like the road manager guy, he asked me if I could play the bass trombone. And I said, oh, sure I could. And then
they got
borrowed
you
the bass trombone.
Borrowed.
And kind of, I knew the book enough because I played off the charts.
And you're easy for you to just get all those lower things and.
Yeah, it's all about, you know. You knew
the positions.
I respect the real bass trombone player, though. There's a difference. You know,
Okay.
It definitely didn't sound as good as the guy who was doing the gig.
Really?
But I got by. And some of my students are doubling on bass trombone.
You play some classical. You do that. Is that's on a trumpet? That's a trumpet piece, right?
Oh, that's like yes.
No? What's classical-ish type pieces you could play real quick? No?
Like
I don't know, something that.
Pavane by Faure.
A few bars of something that would be.
Yeah, there we go.
Goes to a different place.
It goes to B flat. Same thing. Does it walk down?
Oh, that's a pretty thing. I like that. I want to learn that.
The reason why Woody Herman, we used to play a chart on that.
Really?
It was a jazz version of.
He was around when you were in that band? I thought he died.
Woody Herman died just before I got on that band. So it was under, I mentioned before, under the direction of Frank Tiberi. It was a very, Frank was on Woody's band for years and years. So Frank took over and he did the Woody shtick really well.
Okay.
As Frank plays, he's 94, 95 now.
What's the most famous tune from that band?
From Woody's band?
Yeah.
Woodchopper's Ball, I would say.
Does that go again?
It's a blues in D flat.
D flat?
Yeah. But then there are others. Woody had a big hit on Laura.
Okay. I know you didn't get to play with Buddy Rich, right? But
No, I did
you
not.
know that tune? That is it, Nestico?
You gotta try. You gotta try.
I love that piece. You got to try harder. I don't know how he got that special arrangement.
Oh, yeah.
I've been fishing around trying to find that. But I love that little piece.
It was like a tender feature.
You know all those arrangements, all those Count Basie arrangements. Anytime you get on, you've read them so many times, they're easy, right?
I would say, I mean, I've always had a knack for retention, and I think that's something that, even when I was like a kid, even before I became a musician,
Easy for you to memorize.
I was good at imitating things.
Oh, nice.
Like, where a car would go by on the street, I was like 4, 5. I would say, "Oh, that's a Volkswagen," you know.
You could tell the engine and stuff, and that's like mechanic stuff.
And then I was.
That's a 1922 Dodge.
My older sister was like, "Oh, what kind of car is that?" And I forgot. I said, "What kind of car it was?" And she said, "How do you know?" And I said, "You know, I was a little kid." I said, "Because it goes fucka fucka fucka."
Oh.
And that's her big joke.
Really?
She still teases me about that. My sister Patty. You know?
That reminds me of that movie, My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, right.
And she's on the stand and she says, "There's no way that could have been a 1955 Chevy because it had an ulterior latch with the clip and the thing and the button." And you're like,
Yeah.
"You play Little Darling?"
Yeah. That might be a nice one too. Let's try to cut you, Little Darling, or what's another? What's that other bassy? When you mentioned bassy charts, I was thinking about. Oh my God!
Let me throw something at you because I think you're going to be hip to this. Let me give you an idea. I have this. After I got out of school, I started thinking about this kind of stuff. To take the lyric and play it through the instrument as if you're singing it. So, like for instance, I'll give you an example. All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them to them, right? Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on there without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not, Mr. Correct Melody? Take why not take all of me? And then you get the meaning of the. How do you feel about that as a jazz educator? Does that make sense? Could you present that to your class and they would say, "Wow, I never thought of that."
Yeah, I think. As with any tune, the lyrics, they really not just knowing the lyrics, but knowing the flavor and the meaning of the lyrics and how you would sing them,
Right.
as a horn player, has a lot to do with and as a pianist, like, you know, I guess harmonically and dynamically, you can convey that on piano too.
Right.
Obviously.
How would you convey all? It had to be something with the tone, right? You have to make it a big fat tone.
Yeah, and then you
somehow
know,
get that across.
and as the lyrics convey more emotion, you get more emotion. Or you can have a bigger tone. You can use vibrato. You can
Right.
use any kind of, you know, you can on this horn you can get a lot of different sounds.
Okay.
There's a good trombone sound. You know, you can get or
Sliding in there.
yeah, no, what I'm good is I'm manipulating my
Throat.
my throat and my tongue to be able to. Are you hip to Spike Jones? He was a guy back in the 40s and 50s. He had a TV show. He had a great band of really top-notch musicians,
Right.
but it was like tongue-in-cheek, you know. So they do he did that song that was like, "Hi, right in the Führer's face." He did a
Really?
spoof on Hitler back in the
Before that, the producers came out.
Oh yeah, this was like, yeah. When did that come out? What year did
I
that
don't
come
know.
out? This was like the early 40s, when you know, and he was like, it was like, and it's a spoof, and the band's like going. We howl, Führer's face, and if you have a chance to YouTube that, it's.
Let's check it out.
Yes, it's.
What's it called?
Well, right in the Führer's face, but
Right
Spike Jones is the name of the guy.
Jones.
He had a radio show, and he
I
did
heard
a
of him,
version.
but-
He did a version of that old Black Magic, and it starts with the trombone cadenza, like a classical cadenza, like, and then trombones, and he goes.
Wow, what note is that?
It's an F, but and then they start with this version of that old Black Magic, but it's like.
You, I didn't mention you came from an Italian heritage.
Yes,
And where's your family from in Italy?
most of them are from Naples.
Naples.
Although my father's
You always get it confused. What's Naples known for? Napoli.
Naples, Italy is down south. It's near the boot of the. It's a southern.
Which has the wine and which has the grapes that are famous for.
I think
some
the
area?
grapes come from like central Italy. They're known for grapes, as far as I know. But now I don't know how much. You know.
Do you play any very nice Italian pieces that you probably warm the heart of your parents or grandparents? You said your father, passed away.
Oh, they're all gone.
Did you ever play any Italian tunes for him? You liked it?
I never did, but
My mom used to sing them so nicely.
when he passed away, I told you I was in Europe, and his name was Dante, but as well, but he went by Dan. He Americanized.
You're Dante Jr.?
I'm Dante Jr. and my son is Dante as well.
You do Vicino Mare?
How about
I love all those Louis Prima tunes.
what is
You
that
do any of those things? All right, hold on. I wrote something out for you. A little surprise.
Uh-oh.
Can you do Jump, Jive An Wail?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do it in
Wait,
F.
1 second.
In F is okay?
This calls for a plunger.
Good. Let me see if I can check. Test 1, 2. All right, a little surprise here for Dante. Wrote it out right before it came to me here. He did it first, and I guess then Brian Setzer did it.
You know, Keely Smith used to live up in Boca Raton.
Really?
She was, yeah, she lived up in Boca. She used to come into this jazz club up there and sing once in a while when she was like in her 70s.
Really?
Yeah. There was a tenor player who was a veteran of Louis Prima's band. Not the main guy who played with him, but this other guy, I forgot his name. He was in his 80s and he was still playing. And he used to do a gig up there once a week. Anyway.
Wow. One summer, my brother and I went up to the Castles and played with my parents. And we went to a restaurant, and Sal Giorgiani was there playing sax or something. So that was enjoyable. And then he was another schoolmate of ours. And then I had another thought, though, but yeah, I guess that. Linda Carter. We went to hear, but she wasn't with him at the time. Speedy Garfin, you know him?
I know.
He was like the Louis Prima, and she was like the Keely Smith, I think.
Right.
Linda Carter was with them or something. That's what I heard.
Wow.
Never heard them together, though. I searched for it online, tried to find it, but I think I may have found one little thing. But I heard that she was with them.
Interesting.
Now let's see if I can do this. I'm just sight reading here like you. Right? You play that part? I'll catch you. 1, 2, 3. I gotta tell this story first, because then it makes more sense. Okay, now I gotta tell you a little story. We had a mutual friend, Chuck Matsoulis, who had a very thick Boston accent. He's one of my favorite pianists on earth. He swung so hard.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, buddy.
Buddy, how you doing?
Buddy.
So one time, Chuck The Godfather had come out in 1972.
Right.
So I had to preface by saying that. But anyway, so Chuck came in once to the Foster building, and he was looked frazzled. I don't know, like sweating and uncomfortable. I said, Chuck, everything okay? He said, Larry, you listen and you listen good. I knew like that. I don't know what's coming, right? So he says to me, I just got back from a small group. If you're in a small group with the Italianos, you got Maggio in there, and Giorgiani, and Scaglione, and Luciani, don't you dare solo better than them, or else you'll wind up in Biscayne Bay with a piano tied to your foot, and a little note saying he couldn't swim too well, he had a piano tied to his foot. So that's
funny. Chuck and I were in a bebop ensemble together.
Oh yeah? Was that the group?
It was me and Chuck, and there was a trumpet player whose name escapes me. It was just me and the trumpet player. It was just two horns. It was fun. I remember.
Thanks for making me comfortable with that Nazi story this long. Then I could easily. I was wondering, how am I ever going to tell that? In today's day, you can't tell a joke like that. But
no, you got that. Actually, that In the Fuhrer's Face, that song, you got to hear it because it's a total like slap in the face to Hitler. And
maybe the producers was based on that.
It could have been.
It came earlier.
It's funny. It's like, just the way they did it. Yeah, it's and I think at that time it was in the 40s. I think we were already like
out of the war already.
So it was like
45.
It was almost kind of like a what do they call it? Like a patriotic song, actually.
Okay.
Just laughing at it's like this.
I'll check it.
He brings the bell to order.
All right, ready?
Anyway, here we go.
There we go. Dante, it's time we swung off our tail. Dante, it's time we swung off our tail. Chuck could be watching and he's waiting for us to Jive An Wail. When jazz buddies get together, there's no way the music can fail. When jazz buddies get together, there's no way the music can fail. Now it's time that you and me start to Jive An Wail. Jumping, jiving, then you gotta jump and jiving, then you gotta jump and jiving, then you gotta jump and jiving, then you away, take nothing. They put the wind in the musical sail. UN musicians always put the wind in the musical sail. Then they bring it and start the Jive An Wail. Now this kind of swinging, they just don't pay a scale. For this kind of swinging, they don't just pay a scale. Now we're gonna show you just how we jive and well. You gotta jump jiving, then you really 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 gotta jump jiving, then you well away.
Cool.
All right. What else you got?
Well, we're talking about bassy songs. I was thinking of what's that tune?
I love that Queen D. Oh, is that Shiny Stockings?
Shiny Stockings.
Let me see if I remember. Yeah, that's it. It's an E flat, right?
It could be. Singing a C. It's a chord.
You made it
It's
into a
called
chord.
multiphonics.
So you can actually sing another pitch through the horn while you're playing another pitch?
You can sing a tenth, in this case, above the low pitch, and it creates a sympathetic, like, where you can hear the fifth.
What's that called?
It's called multiphonics.
Nice.
So it's like, instead of this,
Stuff, right?
what's that?
Does anyone ever write stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a well-known jazz trombone player, I think he may have passed away, but came up in the 60s, 70s, 80s,
Right.
named Albert Mangelsdorf. And that was he would do whole tunes, he would play tunes and he would play these and accompany himself.
Wow.
Because you can get all different kinds of chords.
You have a quartet. That quartet is you in the quartet, or you're the teacher of the quartet? You're a trombone quartet, right?
It's quintet, sextet, 5 or 6
Students, you're not in it.
No, I just
You ever see it?
supervise them.
You write stuff for them too?
I don't, but they wrote all their own music.
Nice.
We did a concert up in Washington, up in Arlington, and they wrote. Some of them wrote, and also some arranging students from UM wrote all the music. It was all original composition.
All jazz stuff, or
Yeah.
or can you pop tunes and things too?
Not pop, but there was all types of jazz, from straight ahead to very, very kind of complex, out stuff. They were freaked out up there because I think we were probably one of the first groups to go up there to actually play all of our own arrangements, and a couple of the original compositions too. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it was fun.
What else would you like? Like something pretty?
Something pretty. How about something in 3/4?
Sure.
How about what's that Freddie Hubbard tune? Scoop it up, baby.
Oh, I wish I knew that one. I wouldn't be able to get through it.
Okay.
How about you want to do like
Emily?
Oh, it's another nice one. I don't have it in front of me. Someone once brought it once and I played it.
Oh,
How about you want to do A Child Is Born?
Okay. You want to do it as a ballad, or you want to do it
Well, I have no children. You have 2 children, right?
yes.
So
It's going to sound sad.
so is that what? Really? Great foreshadowing for me. I hope I don't have to experience that. It's
Hey, you know?
when your wife gives birth, isn't that like a
No, it's beautiful.
play it like that feeling? I want to know what it feels like.
Okay,
you
I'm
know?
going to empty out my wallet.
Buddy.
Okay. Too old for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. What else? Do any cartoons? Do you like? I want to do that one, but I don't know it totally yet.
Which one's that?
cat's leaving.
What did we
You're a
do?
temperamental cat.
It's like,
She's the only one that likes music. I have another one outside. He hates when I practice. It's a little insulting and it throws me off a little bit. So he stays outside.
Yeah, he's probably tone deaf.
How about how many more? You got a little left in you?
Got a little left in me.
Yeah. Let's see. Want to do? Don't get around much anymore, or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
This might call for the plunger.
Plunger.
Excuse my derriere. Watching this. Okay.
Plunger.
That's it. It's actually a real, actual plunger. You know, it's a real one.
From an actual, you unscrewed it from the thing.
No, I bought it, but
You could save money on
but
it.
you can see it's got the
Horn plungers are very expensive, are they not?
Nah.
I mean, if you get it from the plunger from the toilet, it's actually cheaper.
This
no?
is from the toilet, but not from the toilet. It's from the hardware store.
Oh yeah.
But I have it customized, you know, so it's
Oh wow, got your name in there.
Show them the name. You don't want to. People will, you know. Somebody has to stop up.
That's so no one takes the old plunger. Right? Where do you want it? Count me off. Give you an intro.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
What do you think?
One more?
Okay, one more.
One more?
One more. We're gonna
One more,
We're gonna
one
top
more.
that one.
How do we top that one? I don't know. I keep thinking The Rose. I don't know. I love that song. You ever play The Rose?
Which one?
The Rose. Some say love. It is a, you know it?
Yeah, I could probably.
You
fade
could play
into
it? Name of the bridge. Right?
Right on it. Okay.
Little trombone feature thing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dante.
Hey.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy, it was nice. Maybe Chuck will watch this and he'll see
Maybe.
us.
I haven't seen Chuck in so long. He doesn't say hello. Doesn't send a card. Doesn't write. Doesn't do anything.
You don't bring flowers anymore.
You should say hi. I think
Bring you
my
flowers.
mom just passed away, and it's funny because I think last month I said, Ma, can you find the Chuck CD? He's got like a solo piano CD. I wanted to hear it,
Right.
and she was going to look for it, and then she died.
You gotta maybe go through, you gotta find her.
I think I know where CDs. I'll have to look for it and stuff. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dante Luciani, for joining us. Take another bow. Take another bow. Da, 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 da. There he goes. Hey. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.